So this is going to be a very short version of a video that I've done previously on how to make feta. Now that one was a full-blown lesson, so it went for 30 minutes. This is going to be the short version. G'day folks, Andy here from McDowall Manor. 4 litres of milk to the target temperature, which is 37 degrees or body temp. We're going to add 2 mils of calcium chloride, that's a half a teaspoon, into the milk. That pre-acidifies it and also puts the calcium back in for us. So we're going to add 1/40th of 1 spoon, if I can find said spoon, there it is there, which happens to be called a drop. Into there as well, and we're going to make sure that's all well stirred now. We're adding 1 mil or 1/4 teaspoon to 1/4 cup of water. Give that a bit of a stir around, and then we'll add that to the milk and we'll stir that for about a minute just to make sure it's well and truly incorporated. It's been well and truly mixed, and we're going to let that sit now for 90 minutes. With the lid on, should maintain that temperature at around about 37. So an hour and a half later, we've cut the curd. You cut vertically, horizontally, and then I cut on a 45-degree angle on the 45-degree angle of the curd, because you've got to remember, if you just cut the squares, you're going to end up with huge big rods that go down to the bottom, so you've got to cut lengthwise across as well, hence the diagonal cut. You can get a tool for that, but I don't have it. Now, over the next 30 minutes, we're going to stir that about every 5 minutes, and that'll get the whey out of the curd. I'm going to take these curd bits, you can see they've been stirred, we're going to put them in these moulds, which I always put a strip of cheesecloth in, and I find that helps me to flip them later on. So we're about to do that. All the curd, I'll just use my hands and drop it into the mould. Drain that through a colander, through cheesecloth and a colander. Didn't bother tonight, I just used my fingers to do it. As you can see, I well and truly got enough to fill both moulds. Very little was thrown out. You know, you can dredge around the bottom with your colander if you want. Okay, so they've drained for about 3 hours. So let's see if I can actually get one to flip. One-handed. Oh, well done, Andy. And so what we're going to do is just, sorry about that, we're going to turn him over. You can see the bottom's flat, but the top was in fact, that's the cheesecloth with that dirty mark. The top was in fact had quite a divot in it, and that's the exact reason you turn it over. So I'm going to turn these two over, and then I'm going to leave them here till tomorrow morning. And we'll deal with them then. They'll be about half this size. I've already lost, you know, a good couple of centimetres out the top. You can see as they drain. Flip. You can see the rough, wrinkly, concave top. And that's post flip. You can see it's nice and flat. So that's what we're left with after it's drained overnight. It's a reasonably sized block, and we've got 2 out of the 4 litres. What I'm going to do now is use ordinary table salt. And I'll just sprinkle that over all surfaces of the cheeses. I do about that much on every surface, and then you rub it in with your hands. And you have now, by tomorrow, that salt will have absorbed, and it's ready to eat. Right, folks, hopefully that's been helpful, and I've kept it nice and short. Like I say, I'll put a link in for the bottom to the full 30-minute lesson if you want to do it, you know, really seriously want to have a crack at it yourself. All right, see ya.